Hi, this is Rick Bice with Bice Fit Exercises on behalf of Edmonds Park and Recreation. Today we're going to go through a circuit training class. What we'll do is we'll alternate between strength training exercises for the muscles, bones, and connective tissues, and then cardiovascular exercise for the heart, lungs, and circulatory system. What we'll do, it's all timed, so what we'll do is we'll do a minute on an exercise. We'll take a 30-second break. We'll do another minute on the same exercise or something very similar, and then we'll move on to the next exercise. So I'll call all those out as they happen. What you'll need for this exercise program today is a chair over here, maybe some light to medium dumbbells, and some resistance tubing or band. Maybe light or medium, whatever you have on that. With or without handles, doesn't matter on that. We will begin with a warm-up. We will go through the exercises, then we'll finish off with a cool down and then some stretches at the end. This is all at your own pace, so we strive for a minute's worth of work. If you need to take your breaks, quicker than that, or if by the end of the minute you're not tired or fatigued, you could just go straight through that break that we have. So it's all up to you, the kind of resistance you use, whatever works for your body. Make sure your surrounding area is clear, that you've got room to move around, arm's width sort of stuff at least. You have a proper footwear for the floor that you have. If you've got slippery hardwoods, make sure that you're wearing good shoes that aren't going to slip and slide. If you've got thick carpet, making sure that your feet aren't going to get, isn't going to get caught on the carpet or something and trip you up. So just being careful. All right, let's begin. All right, let's begin with our warm-up here. So basically 2 minutes, nice and easy. We are just looking to gain some blood flow to the muscles throughout the body. A little bit of stretching of the lungs, get the lungs going and bring some oxygen to all the muscles. Looking to warm things up, grease up the joints. Kind of mimic some of the movements that you'll be doing with your exercises in order to get the body just ready for activity. So by the end of this 2 minutes, maybe barely breaking a light sweat, still being able to talk to somebody very easily if you needed to, because you're not out of breath, too much. Heart rate getting up a little bit, just to has to get used to what you're going to be doing for the next 50 minutes or so. That way the body isn't shocked. 45 seconds left. And again, nice and easy. This is not vigorous. And just make sure your space around you is nice and clean. Nothing to hit with your hands, nothing to run into. Make sure you're picking your feet up so they don't catch on your carpet or rugs. 5 seconds. All right. So our first exercise here is squats. We're going to be working the thigh muscles, all right, and the rump muscles in the rear. Now, if you want, you can hold on to something. If you need something to hold on to help you out, not to lift yourself back up, but more for balance. Basically, we're going to just sit right back as if you're sitting down on a chair. How low you go is up to you. Sticking your butt out, keeping your weight on your heels. Feet are about hip to shoulder width apart, okay? Head and chest are going to face forward the whole time. And when you do this, knees are not forward, you're sitting back, okay? So knees will end up right over the shoelaces, between the shoelaces and toes or so. Let's begin here. And again, how low you go is up to you. The lower you go, the tougher it's going to be. If you get those thighs parallel to the floor, it gets a lot tougher. If you need to counterbalance yourself, then just bringing the arms in front of you, or holding a dumbbell in front, or just holding onto the chair if you need to, or a wall, windowsill. Doing these in front of a sink, a nice solid counter and sink, bathroom or kitchen is great. Usually something to hold on to. But basically, just like you're sitting down in a chair. We got 5 seconds. All right, nice job here. 30-second break. So just, again, like you're sitting down on a chair, you're going to commit and you're going to take a seat. You're just going to stop at a certain point and stand back up. All right. If you want to do this, with the chair behind you, to where you're just barely touching the chair, or sitting down fully on the chair and then getting up, that's fine also. Whatever works for you. All right, we'll start back in 10 seconds here. Again, we're working thighs, we're working glutes on the rear, abdominals, torso. All have to stabilize. Hips have to stabilize while you're doing this. All right, let's try it again. In position, again, feet hip to shoulder width apart, keeping your weight on your heels, sticking your rump out. Head and chest are going to face forward. You'll hinge from the hip a little bit maybe as you sit. If you need to get a little bit of weight forward over your feet to keep from falling backwards, then just hinging from the hips, but keeping that back straight. How far you go down, again, is up to you. You can go down as far as you want. You just need to be able to get back up. All right. 10 seconds. If you need more resistance, holding on to a kettlebell or a couple dumbbells, add a little more body weight to yourself. All right, nice job. Okay, so we got about a 40-second break. We're going to do chest flies. So clearing out your space and grab your resistance tubing or band, whatever you have. Using some tubing. Took the handles off for this one, don't need them. Now your tubing is going to go behind you, under your arms at about armpit height. Okay, just goes around your back, under your armpits. I'm going to grab right on the ends here, and what I'll do is I'm going to push out and then open up and close. Keeping the elbows fairly straight, a little bit of bend in the elbow. A little bit of bend in the elbow. Arms are pretty much parallel to the floor at about armpit height, chest height. And I'm just closing, working the pectoral muscles in the chest. Front deltoids in the shoulders getting a little bit of work. Triceps in the upper arms. Having to hold steady. Not bending and straightening much, but they're going to have to hold this resistance as your arms are straight. You're going to brace the core a little bit, keep the abdominals tight, and whatever stance gives you, the best stability. So we want nothing moving but your chest and shoulders. About 7 seconds. Keep the elbows fairly straight. A little bit of bent is okay. All right, take a break. Okay, 30-second break. So again, here, resistance-wise, thicker tubings, thicker bands, tighter bands will always give you more resistance. Shorter bands, if I have a shorter band and I have to reach back further, it's going to be more resistance the further I reach back. Okay, if I need this a little easier, I'm just going to grab a little further, closer to the ends of the bands. And now there's less pull, so it's easier. So just adjust that resistance to whatever works for you. Got another minute here, and let's begin. Again, keeping those arms fairly straight. The tighter this band, the more work has to be done. As I close, that band's being stretched and pulled. Not as bad here. And then as I come out, it gets stretched. So that's where the resistance comes in. Working a lot of shoulders here, chest, and then arms are having to do some work to stabilize, along with torso, abdominal muscles, spinal muscles, hips. Nice and controlled speed. 15 seconds. Keep it up. You got it. If you're tiring out, just slow your pace up. So you're doing these slower. If this is too easy and you can't adjust your resistance, a little faster. Try to get more reps in. All right, nice job. Okay. Next exercise we're looking at is the bent over row. Okay. And I'll use this one again without handles. If you have handles, that's fine. Either way works fine. So what I'm going to do is we'll do two hands here. So you're going to hinge forward, putting your weight on your front and back foot. Enough weight on this front foot, though, so that this band isn't going to pop up. And it's this sort of motion here. Elbows go back. Hands will end right at the bottoms of the armpits and squeeze the shoulder blades. So here I'm just hinging forward a little bit, okay? I'm going to try not to let the back bow or anything. Keep the chest, just like we did with our squats. Keep the chest and head forward, but I'm just hinging from the hips. Now let's begin here. Nice firm grip on these handles. You don't want them popping out of your hand. And I bring my elbows backwards. Elbows can be tucked into my sides or flared out a little bit, whatever's comfortable. Again, palms will be facing in towards you, whether you have handles or not. I'm going to bend that front knee a little bit, and I'm just leaning forward. Elbow goes back, and I'm squeezing my shoulder blades towards the center of my spine, squeezing them together towards my spine. And you're just kind of in a lunge step, one leg forward to anchor that band. All right, take a break. And again, it doesn't matter what foot's forward or backwards, whatever works best for you. Handles or not, if you have handles, that'll lengthen your band a little bit so you won't have as much resistance. If you're taller or have longer legs, that might give you a little bit more work too. Just depends how tall you are, how long this stance is, how long your arms are, how long the band is, and then of course, what kind of resistance that band has. All right. Oops. Let's try it again. Another set here. And again, enough weight on that so that band doesn't pop out. Especially if they're round, they want to roll a little bit. And I switch legs just to, even up a little bit what the rest of the body has to do to support and hold me as far as lower body goes. And the more you lean forward and hinge forward, the more in line these rows will be with your upper chest and back. But it can be a little tough to hold yourself in this position too. So careful and watch yourself as far as any kind of lightheadedness, dizziness. You want to make sure you're keeping your balance. Elbows back, squeeze the shoulder blades together. So we're getting upper back muscles between the shoulder blades, backs of the shoulders, and then biceps in the upper arm. All right, well done. Get rid of your bands here. We're done there. Now we go for a cardiovascular exercise. So you can start now or wait the 30 seconds to kind of clear out your area and make sure that you're in a good spot for your cardiovascular. Good time to get a sip of water, that sort of stuff. And if you want cardio right away, just get on it right away. That's fine. All right, here we go. So we got about 2 minutes and 25 seconds of straight cardio, straight movement. So that's similar to the warm-up, what we did, okay, but a little faster, a little bit more vigorous. You don't have to do what I'm doing. You can do, whatever works for you. If you want to walk in place or jog, or, maybe you've got a rowing machine or a treadmill or a set of stairs or an aerobic step right next to you, hallway to go up and down, jump rope. Maybe you've done Zoom classes, Zumba classes, different things, dance classes, whatever works for you. And how vigorous is up to you. You want to get that heart rate spiked up. You want to get your breathing going. Ideally, you still want to be able to talk to somebody. If someone was in the room next to you, you'd want to be able to hold a conversation, okay, without, being so out of breath that you can't. Kind of like mine. I'm able to talk to you guys. If I go, more vigorous, maybe I won't be able to. So I've got to keep my heart rate and breathing from getting too high, even if it's, going to be a little easier on my cardio system. So do what works for you, what's comfortable. If you've got restrictions, follow those. Make sure your area is clear. I can see myself in the video screen, so I know what's around me. I know how far I am, how far I can go backwards. So just being careful. Got about 35 seconds. Make sure if you've got slippery hardwoods, you're wearing shoes that aren't going to let you slide, or if you've got carpet, you're picking your feet up so you're not catching your toes or the sides of your feet on something. Possible cause a fall. 10 seconds. Keep going. Keep pushing. Get your breathing up. Get your heart rate up. All right, nice job. Well done. Okay, so we need a couple dumbbells here. So grab your dumbbells. All right, two separate exercises that we're going to put together. We've got our bicep curl to shoulder press. Bicep curl looks like this, all the way up and down. Only the elbows moving. So bicep curl up and down. Nice firm grip on your dumbbells, dry hands. You don't want to dump these on yourself or on your floor. Controlled, no arm swinging, no momentum, no hips moving, right? You want to isolate just the elbows. Okay, now shoulder press. We're going to bring up here, and then we're going to rotate and push all the way up. All right, so they'll be racked right on the outsides of your shoulders, palms facing forward, and this is your shoulder press. All the way up and all the way down. Hands come together at the top or not. All right, so if we put it together, we've got about 30 seconds here. So bicep curl, rotate, shoulder press, down, rotate, straighten those elbows, bend those elbows, rotate, up, down, rotate, 15 seconds. And you can rotate kind of as you're moving, or you can do it all separate movements. All right, take a break there. Put your dumbbells down and shake them out a little bit. So we're getting bicep muscle, front of the upper arm. We're also getting deltoids in the shoulders, triceps in the back of the upper arm. Mostly that middle deltoid if you're out here as opposed to here. If you're in closer this way with your shoulder press, you're getting more of those front deltoids. Out here in the military press, more of the outside middle deltoids. All right, so grab those dumbbells again. We got another minute. In position, palms facing forward. All right, so bend those elbows, rotate, and then straighten the elbows up above your head and down. Rotate, straighten those elbows. So back and forth. If you get tired, slow things down a little bit. can also do singles. If I want to curl and do one at a time, doesn't have to be both at the same time. All depends what you're comfortable with. Maybe you've got one shoulder that's not working as well as you'd like it, and you need a lighter weight for it, or you need to concentrate just on that. It's all up to you. 10 seconds. Almost there. Keep going. No hip movement, no momentum, slow and controlled. All right, well done. Good job there. Okay, so get rid of your dumbbells and grab, what are we doing? Grab your chair. So grab your chair, whatever you have. I've got my chair sitting on a mat just because the chair slides really easy. I want to make sure that the chair's not sliding around when you're doing things. Make sure that your feet aren't going to slip out and stuff. Make sure your balance is working really well. Back a little further, get in the camera there. So here we're looking for the lean back. So you're going to sit more on the front half of the chair, so you can lean back, let those abdominal muscles hold you, keep you from falling backwards. If you're sitting too far back, that you're going to run into the back of your chair. So sit more on that front part of the chair so that you can lean back a little bit and do this. So here we're working the abdominal muscles, we're bracing. Make sure those feet don't slip up off the ground. Keep your feet on the ground when you do this. And then when you're tired, sit up and pull yourself forward. Okay. Lean back as far as you feel comfortable and hold as long as you feel comfortable. Now what we'll do is we'll add a march to this. So 1 foot at a time, always having 1 foot as a base. Make sure, again, that's, chair is solid. Whatever you've got, you could always put it against a wall so it's not going to slide or move. Lean back and try marching for a little bit, whatever works for you. Here we're getting abdominal muscles, we're getting hip flexor muscles, fronts of hips. A couple more seconds, about 5 more. Keep breathing, always breathing. Don't ever hold your breath. All right, take a break. All right, so 30 seconds. So if things are a little easy, you could always grab a couple dumbbells or kettlebell or bag of sugar, whatever you got, in order to put a little bit more weight on your upper body so that it makes your abdominals work a little bit harder. We'll also add hip abduction on this second set. So a little bit of marching and then hip abduction. I'll show you what we're doing here. So leaning back, you're gonna straighten one knee and then out to the side. A couple times, working the outside of the hip, the thigh muscle, while we lean back. So let's try again, another minute here. Straighten. And again, you can add some marches in and then some of these, or just stick with these, or just the lean backs without anything with the legs. All depends on what works for you. So here we're getting, again, abdominals, and we're making it even tougher because now we're taking one leg away while trying to do something else at the same time as the lean back. So that recruits more muscle fibers and more muscles, spinal muscles, everything having to work harder. Plus we're getting outside of the hip, outside of the thigh, and quadricep in the main front part of the thigh. Really straighten that knee and lock it, flex the thigh muscle. 15 seconds. And of course, always while breathing, don't hold your breath. Three seconds. All right, nice job. Okay, well done. Get rid of your chair. Make sure it's out of the way for you. All right, we have the upright row and shrug. So grabbing dumbbells again. And we'll try these guys again. So upright rows, standing up nice and tall. Whatever stance gives you the best stability. Here we're going to do this motion here. So hands will be at about, hip width or so, a little wider than hips, and we're just going to lift straight up. But I want your elbows up higher than your hands. They can even get up higher than your shoulders, and try as best you can to keep your wrists neutral. So not like this. I don't want to see this. I want this. As if those dumbbells are just rolling right up your body as best you can. Keep those forearms facing down, wrists facing down and neutral. Tight grip, firm grip, dry hands. And it's okay to hunch at the top. It's okay to shrug and hunch at the top. 27 seconds. Here we're working some deltoids again in the shoulders, middle deltoid a little more. A little bit of bicep in the upper arm, and then upper trapezius, muscles between the neck and the shoulder. And again, good posture as best you can. 5 seconds. Standing up nice and tall. All right, take a break. Get rid of your dumbbells if you want. Next one. For our second set, we're going to do shrugs. So letting the arms dangle at your sides. And now, a little easier. And you might want some heavier weights for this one. Just shrugging. Okay? Letting the arms dangle. Again, firm grip, dry hands, and now just shrugging up. So we're working upper trapezius between the neck and the shoulder. Let those shoulders go up to your ears. Just hunch up. And let's go. 50 more seconds. Again, firm grip on those dumbbells. No white knuckles. You don't have to grip as hard as you can. You just need to grip as hard as you need to keep them in your hands. And again, we're trying for a whole minute. So this is going to test your grip also, especially if you've got heavier dumbbells. Kettlebells can work well with this too. If you got soup cans, not too heavy, but you'll get some work done. Again, whatever you can grab onto and grip well. A couple grocery bags, filled with stuff. So anything that hangs down. 5 seconds. Keep breathing. All right, nice job. Okay, getting rid of your dumbbells. Clearing out your space for another cardiovascular hit. All right, and again, you can get going right now, or you can wait about 31 seconds, and then we'll go officially. Make sure you got that room, everything cleared off. Get on your machine. If you're using machines, quick start feature works great because you just want to get on and get going without inputting a lot of information. Again, we're only going, about 2 minutes, 20 seconds, 2 minutes, 40 seconds at most. So you want to just get on and get going. All right, we're officially going. So get moving again. About 2 minutes and 21 seconds. How fast you go is up to you. This is all at your own pace. We want to get the heart rate up. We want to get the breathing up, but everybody's different. This is your pace. If you want to put on some music, get yourself kind of going a little bit. Some fast-paced music, any beats per minute, you'd be looking at, about 120, 130 beats per minute, that sort of stuff. If you're looking at cardiovascular music to get you going. And again, picking your feet up, especially if you're on carpet or there's rugs. If you've got jump ropes, if you've got plyometric benches, you want to do some box jumps, things like that. I mean, any of that sort of stuff will get the heart and lungs moving for sure. But something consistent, aerobic activity is what's going to work the heart and lungs best. So just consistent movement, not a lot of resistance. You can have some ankle cuff weights, or you want to hold dumbbells, fine. But again, make sure that your movements aren't too fast so that there's not any momentum being pulled on dumbbells, that sort of stuff. All right. And we just try to mimic our movements that we do, but without resistance, we can do it a little faster and more consistent and for a longer amount of time. So any of the things we've done already, pull aparts, bicep curls, shoulder press, any of that sort of stuff, you can throw in your cardio, a little faster movements, no weight, no momentum. We got about 20 seconds. Again, making sure you got space around you so that you're not gonna whack the walls. If you're going forward and backwards or different things, again, making sure you know what's behind you. Almost done. There you go. Nice job. All right, well done. Okay, so triple lunge is our next one. If you want, you can have a chair or a cane or something to kind of hold on to give you a little bit of stability and balance. So triple lunge, it's a lunge in 3 different directions on each leg. So I'll start with the right leg. First thing is what I'll do is kind of a diagonal front lunge. So as I do this, I'm going to shift, probably 60 to 80% of my weight onto this front leg. Let that bend. That back knee is going to bend a little bit. Heel can come up off the ground. I'm going to hinge forward and shift my weight over this foot. And I'll go down as far as I feel comfortable. And then step back to the middle. Now I'm going to go out to the side. Same sort of thing. Kind of sitting back and down. Keeping my weight over this foot. And then back to the middle. And then kind of a backwards one. Bend. Bend that knee. And then back to the front. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll keep it with just this leg. And then second minute I'll go to the other leg. How deep you go is up to you. Keeping most of your weight on that back leg or on the lunging leg. Nice big step. And let that back leg kind of move around. It doesn't have to stay, fully planted. And the heel can come off the ground, especially on this front diagonal. And that knee can bend a little bit. Remember to shift weight onto that lunging leg. And just kind of play around with your pattern. All right, take a break. So play around with your pattern. You can go front, side, back, or back, middle, front. You're just kind of playing around with what you're doing. You can go from a front to a back. Again, just kind of whatever works for you. And then what I'll do is the second set, I'll do this all with my left leg. Same sort of thing, front to the side and then to the back. How deep you go is up to you. The deeper you go, the harder it's going to be. Let's start up here. So making sure that front knee, don't let that front knee go forward too far. You want that right above the, end of the shoelaces, between the shoelaces and the toes. Don't let that front knee or the lunging knee, don't let that go forward past the toes. And again, how deep you go is up to you, but keep most of your weight on that lunging knee. And then try to push yourself back to the middle too. Push yourself back to the middle. Don't let the right leg pull you. Use that outside lunging leg to push you back to the middle. About 10 seconds. All right, nice job, well done there. Okay, so let's see, grab your chair again and 1 dumbbell. So what we've got here is the seated lean back with the reverse wood chop. Okay, so on this one, what we're looking at is I'm going to sit on the front half of the chair so that I have room to lean backwards to let my abdominals do some work. I'm not sitting back against the back of the chair. And then what I'll do is I'm going to grab 1 dumbbell, 2 hands, and start opposite down at the hip, and then up to the shoulder. Okay, down to the hip, up to the shoulder. So it's a diagonal from hip to opposite shoulder as I'm leaning back. Okay, lean back as far as you feel comfortable. Try to keep your feet on the ground though. Don't lean back so far that the feet come off the ground. Unless you're really, trying to work harder. But you want to make sure you have the balance and the stability for that. And here we're just doing a reverse wood chop. Working the reverse part here. Opposite hip to opposite shoulder. While you're leaning back, make sure to breathe. If you need to take a break, sit upright. And you can keep up with the wood chop or not. And then lean back again. Torso can get a slight rotation involved. And then, you know, just going as far as those arms will let you. Down past the hip and then past the shoulder. Alright, take a break there. And you can switch at any time. Switch arms, or like what I'm going to do now on the second set, I'm going to start on the opposite side. Okay. Then whatever hand, usually the outside hand is going to be on top of the dumbbell. It just kind of depends on what's comfortable for you. How are you holding your dumbbell or your kettlebell or whatever you're using. But if it's a dumbbell, usually that top hand's a little easier than the bottom hand. It really doesn't matter much. It all depends on what's comfortable for you. Alright, so leaning back, let's try it again. And across the body. Diagonal from hip to shoulder, both hands. And make sure to lean back a little bit at least, just to get those abdominals kicking in. Having to do more work. And of course, anytime we're working abdominals, we want to make sure we're breathing. Don't hold your breath at all. Think good posture. Your head really is just going to do whatever your chest is doing. And keep it comfortable. No pain or discomfort. Taking breaks as you need to. About 20 more seconds. Looking good there. Again, keep breathing. How far you lean back is up to you. And of course, the weight of your dumbbell or whatever you're using is going to work the shoulders, the chest. All right, nice job there. Okay, so one more exercise here we've got. So you can get rid of your chair and grab your resistance tubing. With or without a handle, either way. All right, so this one a little different. I want to kind of coin the Superman here. So think about the old Superman movies. Christopher Reeve, he flies, you know, like this, one fist out, one fist down sort of thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to work the chest and arm pushing and this other arm pulling. Okay, so what you want to do is probably grab a little bit and wrap around. Especially if you don't have handles, you might want to wrap both hands. But you want to start a little bit more in the middle here, so that what I'm going to do is I'm going to brace my abdominals, give myself a good stance, kind of a lunge stance, and then one arm is going to push out, straighten the elbow, and the other arm is going to pull back, okay, like I'm pulling back a bow and arrow. So at the same time here, pull. There you go. And it actually is probably going to work better without the handle. The handle is just too long and it doesn't give any kind of resistance. So I'll do here. Yeah, this is going to work much better. So pushing out. And again, one arm is pushing out till the elbow's straight. So we're getting some chest and tricep and deltoid. And the other arm is pulling back, getting some bicep. Take a break there. Getting some bicep and upper back and back of the shoulder. Okay, so side view. Again, we're kind of starting in the front here, so that at the same time I'm getting one arm pushing out and one arm pulling. So head is going to look kind of forward over this shoulder. All right, so now what I'll do is I'll switch, and now I'm going to do the opposite side here. Okay, so now I'm pushing out with the opposite hand. All right, so let's get in position. And here we go. Let's start this right here. That's better, yeah. So find whatever position works for you. And get a little bit more pull. Adjust that resistance until you get it just right. You want to get some resistance on both arms. And you don't want to go back with the elbow. We want to keep that hand close to the armpit, as if we're doing a rowing exercise. Both arms are going to move. How much they do and which one moves a little more or not Kind of just depends on your resistance and where you're grabbing and holding from. But just trying to get both those arms doing a little bit of work. Having both fists point forward. There you go. Keep breathing. Think decent posture here. All right, nice job there. Well done. All right, so we've got our last cardiovascular. So you can get rid of your resistance tubing. Clean up your area. Grab a sip of water if you want to, or you can get right on it. All right, let's get moving on. Kind of a cross toe tap behind, and I'm just pushing those straight arms back, and I'll have my palms face each other on this one. And we're officially going 2 minutes and 22 seconds. So our last cardio. Start ramping it up in the next 10-15 seconds. And I'm just hinged forward slightly from the waist, squeezing those shoulder blades together every time those arms go back. All right, let's go back to a regular narrow march, and let's do some scissors. So palms are faced up on this, elbows are bent, tucked in at my ribs, and I'm just rotating the shoulders. Hands are kind of going above and under each other. Nice and controlled. Make sure you do this with no resistance. Keep it going. All right. About a minute and 20 left. All right. Let's go some punches forward. And I'm going to keep a nice wide tap with the feet. Punching down a little bit more here. Down and across. And now back to the middle. About chest height. And up a little higher. Across the face. Keep those feet wide. About 45 seconds left. All right. Let's go back to some of these guys. So palms facing each other. We're going to hammer curl in along with our knee curls, working those hamstrings. All right, back to some regular marching and wide marches, and narrow and wide and narrow. 10 seconds. Wide and narrow. Wide, narrow, wide, and narrow. All right, well, let's keep our marching. So we got to cool down. We're going to incorporate some balance with cool down here. So I'm going to stop the timer. Let's keep moving. Just for a good 30 seconds, just kind of keep moving aimlessly. We're actively trying to get the heart rate down. So it's the opposite of our warm-up. Our heart rate's up a little bit from this last cardio. We don't want to just take a seat and let the blood pool somewhere in the muscles. We want it pumping through the body, actively getting back to the brain more. So we want to keep moving, keep breathing at a good pace. We'd like to get that heart rate below 100 beats per minute. Is what we're shooting for. Grab your water, walk around, for a couple seconds. We're going to do some balancing while we're moving, so it'll we're still cooling down while we do that. All right, so grab your dumbbell. We're going to do a little tightrope walking with the dumbbell. So think about your tightrope. Could be as wide as your hips. So a nice wide, tightrope, easy to walk. Okay, could be more narrow, like as wide as two of your feet put together. So that gets a little tougher to do. Especially if you're going backwards, be aware of your surroundings, how many steps you can take before you bonk into things. And then of course maybe your tightrope is as wide as 1 foot, and so it gets even tougher. Okay, so the width of your tightrope, and then also how close your steps are. If I'm taking a good sized step, not too hard. Okay, if I take a smaller step where I'm touching heel to toe together, now it gets even tougher. Okay, close one eye, close both eyes. Holding that dumbbell, especially if it's a heavier dumbbell, is gonna, it's gonna throw you off a little bit, especially just one dumbbell. There you go. All right. Now what you can do is you can kind of pass this dumbbell back and forth between your hands. Be careful. All right. A little bit of that work here. Just make sure you have the room. You're not going to punch the wall with your dumbbell. Nice and controlled. Actually, let's go one more round here. And let's go up and down. And remember how small that tightrope is, and how small of a step you take is up to you. And if you're using a dumbbell or not is up to you. I want it to be a challenge, but I want it to be a safe challenge. One more on the way back. I'm just trying to use feeling here. I'm not looking at my feet. Moving the dumbbell at the same time. Coordination and balance. All right, let's get rid of the dumbbell. Nice job there. Okay, let's do a sleeping dog exercise here. Think about if you have small dogs that are asleep, maybe you've got 3 of them in a row. Or, maybe you've just got one, because that's all the space you have. And you're stepping up and over, and then up and over again. It all depends on your space. I've got enough space for about 3 or 4 dogs, so that's what I'm going to step over. Now, the larger those dogs are, the harder it's going to be. A little more balance. Instead of a Chihuahua, maybe you've got a large German Shepherd and having to step over without waking them up. Okay. Right, nice big steps. Controlled. All right, now we're going to pause a little bit. So I'm going to step and freeze. So I'm going to step, and now I got to freeze. Dog's about to wake up. Don't want to wake him up. Step over and freeze. And again, how big those dogs are up to you. Maybe it's a small dog. Step over and freeze. Okay. How long you freeze for is up to you also. I could freeze, pause for a second. Okay. Or I can pause for 3 seconds or 5 or 10 seconds. All up to you. Nice and easy. I'm going to go one more round back. And I'll freeze. And one more. So working the hips, working the balance and coordination. All right, nice job there. Let's do a little bit of toe walking and heel walking to finish this up. All right, so I'm walking on my toes here, forward and backward, or side to side, or maybe I'm in one spot, tick-tock back and forth. Okay, up to you what you want to do, but just try to stay on your toes nice and high, working those calf muscles, working your balance and coordination. Now let's switch to heels. Okay, so now toes are in the air and working the heels. The shin muscles are getting some work, balance and coordination. Again, I can go forward or backwards or side to side, or I can tick-tock. Nice and easy. Controlled and safe. And especially if you got carpets or rugs, pick those feet up. All right, let's do some stretches. Nice job there. So first stretch we're going to do, we're going to stretch out the back of the thigh and behind the knee and the rump, the calf. I'm going to squat down. I'm going to hinge forward, dig in the heel on this front leg that I'm just going to stretch. And I'm just going to lean forward and squat until I feel a stretch behind the knee, behind the thigh. I want my toe pointed forward. Leg is right in front of me. I'm just going to take a seat nice and slow and give a good stretch behind the knee, behind the thigh. You might feel it on the calf. No jerking, no bouncing, nice and easy. Let's switch legs. Okay. This view here. So nice and easy. If you want less of calf, just let that toe, sink down to the floor more. If you want more calf involved, bring those toes up towards your face. Try not to let the toes and the leg roll out. Try to keep everything forward. Real gentle. Good 20 or 30 seconds is what we're trying for. Low back is straight. I'm not rounding out. I'm just hinging forward, head and chest forward, breathing the whole time. All right, nice job. So now what we're going to do is stretch here. I'm going to pelvic tilt. So I'm going to rotate the pelvis forward like we did with our pelvic tilts laying down. That low back is going to straighten and flatten out. I'm going to brace my abdominals. As I hold that position, I'm going to interlace my hands and fingers together, palms facing me, and then I'm going to push out as far as I can. So now I'm going to round out my upper and middle back. Head is going to look neutral. And I'm going to straighten those elbows and push my hands away from my body as far as I can, stretching out the back. My forearms are getting a little bit of a stretch here too, with the wrists that are bent. Keep breathing. All right, nice job here. Okay, last stretch here. Something for the chest and the front. We're going to bring our arms up here at a 90-degree angle. So 90 degrees between the elbow and the armpit. Okay, so 90 degrees both directions. And now I'm going to bring those arms backwards, squeezing my shoulder blades together. I'll let my chest stick out. I want to stretch my chest and the fronts of the shoulders. I'll bring my hands together behind my head or ears and really try to get those elbows back, squeezing my shoulder blades together towards my spine. I can let those hips come forward. Nice deep breathing. Let's straighten those elbows. Palms up and thumbs backwards. And again, reach open nice and wide. And now let's dip our fingers and wrists down and back. So we'll stretch out those forearms and wrists and palms. You can feel the stretch there. Keep breathing. All right. Just shake it all out. Nice job. All right. Excellent work today. Thanks for being here.